You're watching Laura Collins, where we break down the battles the mainstream media covers in 30 seconds. I'm Laura, and we don't do surface level here. We go deep, detailed, and into places other channels won't touch. Before we dive in, I want your opinion in the comments. A real tactical take, not an emoji. Stay until the end because I'm going to ask you something with no clean answer. It is 3:51 in the morning. Kapustin Yar, Russia, the birthplace of Moscow's most feared hypersonic missiles, is burning underground. The facility that launched the Oreshnik into Ukrainian cities and bragged about it on state TV is now venting smoke through its own ventilation shafts, the very same shafts Ukraine just used as a delivery address. 3 weeks ago, Russia fired an Oreshnik at Mach 10 and called it unstoppable. Tonight, a swarm of drones costing less than used pickup trucks just wrote a very different answer from 700 kilometers away. You're shocked, so am I. Let's break down exactly how Ukraine pulled this off, step by step. This is the double tap on Kapustin Yar. 3 weeks before tonight, a volley of Oreshnik hypersonic missiles traveling at Mach 10 slams into Ukraine's power grid and a logistics hub outside Lviv. The damage is severe, but Ukraine doesn't panic. While the world focuses on the destruction, Ukrainian intelligence works backwards, tracing launch trajectories, radar signatures, and flight path geometry until every data point points to one location, Kapustin Yar. This base has been struck before, multiple times, and yet the Oreshnik strikes keep coming. That tells Ukrainian planners something critical. Surface strikes are not enough. The real capability is buried underground, hidden beneath Soviet-era reinforced concrete, invisible to satellites, and shielded from conventional intelligence. You cannot see it. You cannot confirm it. So you cannot hit it. Not yet. First, you have to make Russia show it to you. Ukraine's plan begins with a carefully engineered deception. 86 modified Beaver-class reconnaissance drones, each costing less than a used pickup truck, depart a concealed position near Kharkiv at 10:30 p.m. They split into 4 loose formations, entering Russian airspace from slightly different angles. Their electronic signatures are deliberately noisy. Their flight paths zigzag and overlap. To any radar operator, this looks like a large but poorly coordinated Ukrainian harassment run. Annoying, manageable. That assumption is exactly what Ukraine is counting on, because while the swarm looks chaotic on the outside, every drone is executing its role with precise internal logic. The chaos is the plan. The noise is the weapon. Kapustin Yar's radar operators detect the swarm 20 minutes out and alert the base commander. He looks at 86 incoming signatures and makes what appears to be a textbook decision, ordering a full evacuation of sensitive components into the underground tunnel network. Fuel assemblies, guidance modules, Oreshnik maintenance parts that Russia cannot replace quickly. He thinks he is protecting his assets. He just handed Ukraine a thermal map of his most secret facility. The moment the evacuation order is given, Kapustin Yar's air defense network activates. S-400 batteries, Panzer gun missile systems, and S-500 Prometheus platforms all go live simultaneously. Panzer systems lock and destroy drones at 20 to 30 intercepts per minute. S-400s launch long-range interceptors. Between 45 and 55 Ukrainian drones are shot down. On paper, Russia is winning. In reality, a catastrophic strategic error is unfolding in slow motion. The swarm is engineered to overwhelm radar data processing. Too many contacts, too many simultaneous tracking solutions. Computers track everything, but human operators start guessing. And while every Panzer burns through $100,000 to $200,000 missiles swatting $8,000 drones, something critical happens above Hangar 105. The moment underground tunnel doors slide open to accept evacuated components, heat pours out through ventilation shafts and exhaust ports. A Ukrainian drone running a passive infrared sweep captures the bloom, a faint, irregular heat signature radiating from 40 feet underground, southeast corner of Hangar 105. Coordinates are uplinked to Ukrainian command within 90 seconds. Russia thinks it is winning the air battle. It just gave Ukraine the address. Finding a heat signature is promising, But committing 6 Flamingo B strike platforms to a 700-kilometer mission based on thermal data alone is not how professionals operate. Ukraine needs confirmation. Hidden inside the swarm are a dozen micro-drones the size of large hawks. As they pass over the tunnel entrance, they release tungsten-tipped seismic spike arrays that freefall and bury 3 feet into the earth. Within seconds, these sensors transmit subsurface vibration data back to the command center. The AI analysis takes under a minute. The result is not the rumble of trucks or thud of boots. It is a high-frequency mechanical whine. Liquid fuel pumps running at operational speed. Core Zero confirmed. The Oreshnik fueling operation is active right now, underground in Hangar 105. Ukraine then makes a critical strategic choice. No Chernobyl moment. Too risky. Instead, targeting teams identify 2 specific vulnerabilities: the propellant manifold lines and the underground cooling infrastructure. Destroy the manifold and every missile becomes a lawn ornament. Sever the cooling lines and temperatures spike, triggering an automated safety lockdown that kills every ground-based inertial guidance update each Oreshnik needs before launch. Take both out, and the base goes from nuclear strike capability to an expensive, dark, useless cave. The Flamingo Bs are now 38 minutes out, flying at 150 to 180 feet, below every radar system at the base. At 1:47 a.m., all 140 drones from the second wave tilt their noses down and accelerate toward the base perimeter simultaneously. Embedded electronic warfare platforms trigger a digital flashbang across Kapistan Yar's entire frequency spectrum. Russian operators are staring at screens that are 90% white noise. The base commander makes the only call he has left: engage everything. Panzer batteries fire at maximum output. The S-500 Prometheus launches long-range interceptors. The sky above the base becomes a wall of tracer fire and explosions. 70% of the Ukrainian swarm is still operational, and none of them are trying to evade. They are trying to occupy. Every second a Russian radar stays locked on an $8,000 Beaver drone is a second it is not looking for the real threat skimming the desert floor at 180 feet. The swarm burns down fast, 40% capacity and dropping. The master clock in the Ukrainian command center flashes a warning: 43 seconds until total swarm neutralization. If the Flamingos don't hit their marks in the next 60 seconds, the S-400s will cycle back to low-altitude scanning, and 6 of Ukraine's most advanced strike platforms will be destroyed before they ever reach Hangar 105. At 1:52 a.m., the last decoy goes down, a burning wreck in the Russian sand. The swarm is gone. S-400 radars, no longer overwhelmed, automatically cycle their beams back to the horizon. That is when the screaming starts in the Russian command bunker. 8 low-altitude signatures. Range, 12 miles. Target, Hangar 105. The Flamingo Bs are moving at 600 miles per hour, 100 feet above the desert floor. The Russian commander has seconds. Panzer cannons open up. A curtain of 30-millimeter steel across the perimeter. The lead Flamingo takes a direct burst and detonates early, a massive fireball lighting up the valley. 1 down. A short-range interceptor clips a second, sending it into a sand dune 800 yards short of the fence. 2 down. Just 1,000 yards from the target, the remaining 6 execute the pop-up maneuver, pitching upward to 300 feet for a steep diving angle. A third is vaporized at the apex, 3 down, 5 still coming. The first pair reaches Hangar 105. The lead missile slams into the primary ventilation shaft, the Monroe effect focusing a jet of molten metal through 15 feet of reinforced concrete. Exactly 500 milliseconds later, the second Flamingo flies into the hole the first one just made. The detonation deep inside the assembly hall is catastrophic. 200 pounds of HMX ignites the liquid propellant manifold lines. Pillars of blue-orange flame roar out of every elevator shaft and exhaust port, reaching 400 feet into the sky. Inside the tunnel, temperatures spike to 2,000 degrees. The Oreshnik assembly lines are reduced to molten scrap in under 60 seconds. The Russian base commander makes one final desperate move, ordering the remaining Oreshniks to launch. Retaliate, fire everything. But the base's brain is gone. Fiber optic cables melted, launch computers destroyed. One Oreshnik attempts to ignite in its silo and stalls. Without ground-based cooling and guidance systems, it cannot complete its launch sequence. The Mach 10 unstoppable weapon sits in its tube venting toxic fumes, a monument to a doctrine that just died in the desert. Back in Moscow, senior officials watching live feeds are completely silent. They were told the Oreshnik was the future of Russian military power. Tonight, they watched that future get double-tapped by engineering that cost a fraction of a single Russian interceptor. Hangar 105 is structurally compromised. The only production line in Russia capable of handling Oreshnik liquid propellant is a twisted mass of blackened steel. Serial production for 2026 just became a multi-year backlog. All pre-launch preparations are halted, personnel evacuated. Russia's hypersonic delivery capability out of Kapustin Yar is completely frozen. It is like someone deleted the app from Putin's phone. He can still see the catalog. Nothing is getting delivered. That is the double tap on Kapustin Yar. One of the most technically precise strike operations of this entire war, pulled off not with stealth jets, but with swarm logic, seismic sensors, and 6 missiles that knew exactly where to hit because Russia accidentally showed them the way. Now I need your take in the comments. If you were the Ukrainian mission commander, what would you have hit first? The ventilation shafts or the fuel manifold? And the bigger question, is Kapustin Yar the only facility on Ukraine's target map? Or is there already another address loaded into the next flamingo wave? If this breakdown is what you have been looking for, the kind of detail that never makes the nightly news, hit that subscribe button right now. It is free. It takes 2 seconds, and you will not miss what is coming next. There are more operations being tracked, more stories being mapped, and more double taps being planned than the world knows about yet. I'm Laura Collins. Stay sharp, stay curious, and I will see you in the next one.